It's a funny thing because people like the majority of people reaching out, are gamers and artists alike, and I do a lot of artwork and I always have to be very creative. But gaming wise, it's never like I've never really gamed. Like I never owned a games console. So I first heard about this game in 2006 in a magazine. It was on the front cover, and I saw a train like with this spray paint can, and I was like, man, like I want to play that game. But I don't have a games console, and I didn't have enough money to buy a games console. So I'd have to go around my friend's house after school, and I would play the game, and like whoever, I'm like, hey man, can I come around yours? I got this video game, I need to play it. And I had to restart it so many times, because I'm just like using different people's consoles all the time. But eventually I managed to find my friend Steve, and I was like, hey man, can I just keep playing this on your like same PlayStation? So I haven't got to keep like starting from the beginning. And I managed to finish it, and yeah, like once I played it through, I was like, this game is so story driven. This should be a film. Even at 16 years old, which is how old I was when the game came out, it was like I knew that I wanted to turn this into a film.
New Radius used to be alive, brimming with culture. That was the golden age.
So after the initial shoot was done, I took a couple of still frames from the dailies that we had, like the footage, and just kind of like, just teased them into this Discord forum. Yeah, and I posted it on there. I just thought some people were like, oh, this is cool, But the next day, like I opened Discord, and it was just like tons and tons and tons of messages. Yeah, after the initial first 24 hours, there was all this hype behind it, and it had been posted on Reddit and Instagram and all the fan pages and stuff, and it was crazy. Like people were just like, I need to know more information. Now, what was great was that because we had David do all the behind the scenes for us, and he's been also he's like a fucking wizard on the socials. So he was there like the whole time doing behind the scenes, with his phone as well, posting to Instagram constantly. So I had reposted a lot of those on my stories on Instagram, and you could see like the tank, you could see the robot arm, you could see like everything that we had done. Essentially enough people had reposted those original images that it eventually got to Marc.
This is our first project. This is my first one. And Atari, I give him all the credit and taking the risk and letting a guy, like me make this, because if I can make it, as I said to you before, you can make it. I'm not bullshitting.
So there's a Marc Ecko's Getting Up fan page that is on Instagram. And I've met only remotely the young man from Brazil who runs this operation, and he's been doing it for years. He's kind of a super fan. He sends me a DM on the Marc Ecko's Getting Up fan page on Instagram, and he's like, congratulations on your new film. What? The new film. He sends a picture of behind the scenes. I said, tell me more. And he's like, oh yeah, he's the filmmaker. And he sent me the link to Elliott. And I see Elliott posting on IG, and I have a little bit of this moment of dissonance because the contrast of like Elliott, the filmmaker, this kind of like family man, and living in Vancouver, and beautiful photography of the outdoors, and then there's this like intense like the stuff that he does as concept art and his film work. I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? This kid seems like he's a real player he's a maker of some sort.
Right.
So I just DM Elliott. It was that simple.
Wow.
And Elliott gets back to me, and we set up a Zoom call, and a couple of days later, there we are, voila, on a Zoom talking, and he shares with me the story of what he did, and he was super earnest. He shared everything very openly and effusively. He had tremendous respect and was really courteous. And it was evident that this guy had done a tremendous amount of research and had a authentic connection with the IP. And it was also verified for me after going down that rabbit hole that he is talented and he has a talented network of young filmmaker friends, and that this was not a trivial pursuit. There was clearly a lot of love put into this thing.
Yeah.
So I connected to Elliott on the merits of that. Like, all of my creative outlets are personal, right? So like, I know, like I still paint. I still occasionally I make, practical art with my hands, and but that's almost like a therapy. So I haven't done anything under the guise of like commercial art in, practically for almost 6 years. So this is kind of like dusting off those chops a little bit.
Yeah.
And like, maybe I have a different perspective to offer, and feeling, like I said, there's unfinished business. I right away coordinated with Elliott and said, let's try to professionalize this endeavor. And we both would like to see this in the real world. Let's not see if we can't give this a go, to see if we can't get this thing fully developed as a film.
Vancouver as a filming location is amazing. We have the mountains, the forest, the sea, the city. So it's really got like the whole package there for everything you need. There was something that I found out after we finished filming that was weirdly serendipitous. In the original game, the textures that Atari used to make New Radius came from a texture pack that was built up of all Vancouver buildings. So New Radius in the game is made from textures that were just shot all over the city back in the early 2000s. The Vancouver, in that sense, it really is New Radius, but it's also like it has so much more to offer than just as locations. It's like the crew here are phenomenal. There's such a huge wealth of talent here, young and old, all through Vancouver. From the bottom up, really. And it's like everybody really wants to get stuck in, really wants to make these films and TV shows happen here. So for me, this is the perfect place to film Getting Up. It was truly like a really wonderful moment to that first day when we released the teaser, and then again with the full trailer release. It's just like every filmmaker's dream, and I'm still up here. I haven't come down yet. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and thank you for sharing.
Hold on. Yeah. Yo, I come from a two-fare zone. It seemed like just yesterday I had to take the 2 of the 5 to the junction and walk the rest of the way. You could catch a bus for the transfer, but waiting for that surface transfer was a bitch. I avoided like a cancer. I'm heavy in the streets like crack in New York in 86. I was riding the A with the R in my Walkman with D-Saps and low-lives. I could tell you stories of fighting for my glory on the subway like the warriors. A young man's rites of passage through the belly of the beast with the working classes, homeless and the purse snatchers. We used to hop and never drop a token over the turnstiles like Edwin Moses and run from the cops like Jesse.